Hello YouTube. My name is Stacy. I'm known here as Floody Rambler, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel today. Today I'm continuing with episode 2 of the Crazy Craft Challenge. This is a collaboration hosted here on YouTube by Louisa Heinzel and Pam from the Paper Outpost. I'll have links to their channels listed in the description box below. And episode 2 of the Crazy Craft Challenge is that we're not allowed to use any brushes. We have to use our fingers. That's right. We have to use our fingers for everything. And we're supposed to make 3 journal cards. And that means that I'm going to get out this new deck of cards to me. It's a phonics deck that will be in my Thrifty Thursday video that'll be coming out this Thursday, but they're just the right size for journal cards, so I decided to use them today. I'm going to pull out 3 of them and then start looking at some papers to cover them. One side is glossy and one side is matte, which means that I need to cover up the glossy side. I'm going to cover up both sides of these cards anyway. And normally I'd start with my collage glue, but I don't want to dip my fingers into the jar. So instead I'm going to get some school glue that I can squeeze out and then smear around with my finger and then apply the paper. I audition a few papers to decide which one I like, and in the end I like this block of dates out of a calendar. And it's a special calendar to me. It's something that I found in my mom's things after she passed, and I decided to put it into my stash, and I'm using bits and pieces of it here and there, but they really do have some sentimental value whenever I use them. I'll trim off the excess and then I'll audition a few more things to decide what to do on the other 2 cards. I finally decide to use these security envelopes that I have in my stash. These are fabulous papers to use. They have very interesting patterns and kind of neutral colors. I'm just going through them to decide which ones I want, and I'll decide on these 2 black and white patterns. Like I said, these are security envelopes, the insides of them, and they have fabulous patterns. I'll put down a small amount of the PVA glue, rub it around with my fingertip, and then cut out a piece of the security envelope to use as the front of my project. I'll trim away the excess paper once everything is dry. These are journaling cards, so on the backs of each I'll put a layer of that PVA glue, and then I'm going to put down this black tissue paper. I'll flatten it all down with a heavy book, and then once they're dry, I'll trim away all the excess paper. I want to have a cohesive feel to these 3 cards, so I'm going to use some number dates off of the calendar and put them on the security envelopes. And then alternatively, I'll use some of the security envelope and put it on the card with all of the calendar dates. And then to bring the black tissue to the front, I'll add 3 pieces to each of the fronts of these cards. I want to do some stenciling with gesso, so I'm going to get out my punchinella. Now, punchinella is sequin waste, and I found this lot of punchinella on Etsy years ago, and you can still find it there. Just do a search for punchinella or sequin waste, and you'll find that you can get quite a variety of background stencils. I'll pour out some white gesso and use my finger to stencil through this rectangular punchinella, and it looks awful. It looks awful. It's all blotchy and there's bleed through, and it's really not what I wanted. You can see here I'm about to stencil with the same punchinella when I decide, no, let's get something different. And again, I'll finger paint through the stencil with the gesso, and it's awful. It's not working. I don't quite have the technique yet, and it looks blotchy, and oh my goodness. What am I doing? On the third journaling card, I'll choose this slanted square, and I have a better idea on how to handle the gesso to get a cleaner impression. I smooth out a bunch of the gesso on one of the sides, and then it's just a matter of getting just the right amount on your fingertip and tapping it through the stencil to get a cleaner result and success. I like how this is looking, so I'll go ahead and finish stenciling on the rest of the card. Because I like how that one turned out, I'll turn my attention back to the one with the small flowers and try to fix it. It's not successful. I don't do a good job of it at all. I don't like how it looks. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan. So instead, I'll just take my finger, dip it into the gesso, and just finger paint on the background. I like how that looks. So I'll do the same to the first card. I'll just dip my finger into the gesso and do some finger painting, adding some gesso here and there so that it breaks up the pattern in the background. And I'm liking how these look. Unfortunately, I did get some gesso on the back of the card, so now they're not black anymore, but that'll happen. That'll happen. That's for future me to worry about. Now it's time for me to look for some focal points. I have a selection of butterflies and bugs that I'll try auditioning, and they're okay, but I want something more. So I'll go through my Tim Holtz paper dolls and I'll add a few of those, and you know, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not great either. It's a lot of black and white, and that's not awesome. But when I add the two together, now there's some magic. I've got something whimsical, and I love this idea. Isn't that cute? Oh my goodness. I love that they all have these somber expressions, and I'm gonna zhuzh them up with these fabulous butterfly wings with those gold details. It's gonna be lovely. But first, I'm going to take some archival ink in black and go ahead and ink up the edges of all my cards, all my people, and the butterflies. Then I'm going to take Aleene's tacky glue. I'll rub it into the back of each paper doll, cut the butterfly wings in half, and add the wings to each doll, and they look fabulous. They look wonderful, and I'm so glad that I thought of this idea. It looks fabulous. Now I feel I've got a handle on the focal points. These fairies look fabulous, but I want to bring some of that metallic gold to the background. So I'm going to get these Montmartre paints. I haven't used them yet. I have them featured in a haul video, and I'll have a link to that video in the top right hand corner. I'm going to take the gold, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. At first I thought I was just going to finger paint in the background, but it's not exciting me. It's not giving me what I want. So I'm gonna add some water, and I'm gonna try to do some splats with my fingers. Oh my gosh, I wish I had a brush. It would be so much easier. I water down the metallic gold, and then I just go ahead and start splatting with my fingers, doing the best I can with what I've got here. We're not allowed to use brushes or tools, so fingers it is. And I find the more I water it down, of course, the more easier it is to splat. And it's beautiful. I love the splats. They're big and chunky. That's okay. I'm going to take that same metallic gold, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to the edges of all the cards, front and back. And I really like how that looks. It looks fabulous. It adds a bit of bling, and it'll bring the gold from the butterfly wings into the project, so it isn't just a shock of color. I decide the background needs a little more, so I'm going to take 3 texture background stamps and the black archival ink, and I'll add groupings of 3 of each stamp on each card. And I really like how it pulls more interest into the background. just gonna take my Stabilo all in black, dip it in some water, and create a shadow for each of my fairies to stand on. I'll dry it all off, and then it's time to use my Aleene's tacky glue and glue the backs of all my fairies so that I can add them to the cards. And then I'm going to weight it all down with my basket of stamps so that everything dries flat. Once everything is dry, wow, I love how it looks. I just love how it's coming together. And then it's time to take my black ballpoint pen and add some sketchy lines around the whole fairy. I'm going to take my Sakura Jelly Roll pen in neon pink and add some blush to each of their cheeks. And then for the ladies, they're going to get some sparkling red lipstick with this glitter pen. And I'm staring at my projects and I want to bring the pink into each of them. So I'll go ahead and do some mark making on all 3 cards. 3 little X's in 3 spots on each card. And then I'll take my Stabilo all and reinforce that shadow. The wings are wide, so I'm going to make sure I add a wide shadow along the bottom so that it looks more realistic. And I can't help myself with that Sakura Jelly Roll pen. I go ahead and add some pink details on all of their clothes. All of my fairies are gonna have bright blue eyes thanks to a Sakura Jelly Roll pen. And then I decide it needs more. It needs more pink, more neon pink. So I go ahead and start adding some details to all of their wings. I'm going to take my Signo Uniball in white and add some white to each side of their blue eyes. I feel it makes them look a little crazy-eyed, but that's okay. That's okay, they're fairies. And after I've added the pink to the wings and brought the colors all the way through my project, I just love how it looks. I love the details that I created, and I love their crazy eyes and the pops of pink. I enjoy the gold in the wings and on the background, and I just really enjoyed this finger painting challenge, and I'm hoping that you're following along with this as well. Remember, no brushes allowed, only finger painting. And that looks like that's it for this video. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.